Next, we are going to be watching a craft guide to D&D 5th edition character sheets and Dungeon Masters by JoCat. Make sure to subscribe, like, and leave a comment in the doodly-doo. This was not recorded live, however, if you'd like to hang out with me, head on over to twitch.tv/LuminusRed. We watch videos, we play games, we do funny things, I simp for women constantly, and we'll have a very fun time, and I know you'll be a great part of our community. So come on in, drop in chat, learn whatever you're comfortable with. All will be appreciated. In the meantime, let's get back into this. We shall finally cap off this journey, and maybe watch more JoCat tomorrow on stream. Who knows? I don't know. I'm really liking it, so we'll see what we do. We will see, won't we? Until then, let's get into it.
You may think you know D&D, but guess what, nerd? You don't. Not until you understand what the fuck is all this shit. What is this?
It?
What is this?
I don't know!
Why do I need to know
Tell me!
handling? The fuck is Arcana? The shit on hit dice? What's a proficiency bonus? Why are Electrum pieces so stupid?
What is an Electrum piece?
Formal education, ass hair. I'm gonna reteach you how to do math.
Got it.
Because let's be honest, you still use a calculator to add and subtract single digits. Welcome to a crap guide to D&D.
I mean, in all honesty, I've got extreme dyscalculia, so I have to use a calculator, my fingers, and pray. Still pray. I'm very not good at math. I'm very bad at math, actually. Very dyscalculic. I'm also dyslexia and working memory challenges and ADHD, and what were we talking about?
This is your character sheet. Your character cannot exist without it. However, it doesn't always have to look like this. It could be a simple flashcard, a scribbling in a notebook, or an app on your phone if you like being spoon-fed like a baby who laughs at the phrase pee-pee-poo-poo watermelon. And when playing as a character in D&D, you will refer to the character sheet whenever you have to roll the various kinds of dice that decide the outcome of your actions. Many are intimidated by this mighty thingy's magnificence, but mourn them ye shall not, for they be weak-ass bitches. It looks like a whole lot, but get a hold of yourself and take it one step at a time. The first person to voluntarily stick something up their butt didn't get anywhere by crying about how intimidating it is to stick something up their butt. They just did it, and look how far we've come. First of all,
do not the cacti. Do not the cacti. Not speaking from personal experience, but from sane reasoning. Jeez.
On the top, we have the basics. Name, class, race, background, and dumb BuzzFeed quiz results. These things will determine later things, so don't worry about those things until we come to them later. And if you don't know what you want those to be yet,
lesbian.
That's okay. We can
What?
Wait,
no, 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 no,
so
no.
Don't worry about those things until we come to them later. And if you don't know what...
Correct. Alignment, lesbian. When was this video made? When was this video made? This video was made 5 years ago and it was calling out my reaction. This is amazing. This is amazing. This video was literally made for me. This is my character sheet. Alignment, lesbian. Perfect. Absolutely. Utterly perfect.
What you want those to be yet, that's okay. We can mosey on over to this tower of pimps, which will be the most important part of your entire sheet.
Ability scores.
These are your basic stats, the strengths and weaknesses of your character, and the main determiner of whether you're gonna be snooping or spooping when dungeoning those dragons. Strength is your strong, heaping muscles, how much shit you can carry, how well you can push or pull heavy objects, and how well you can make your pecs dance.
Oh, I can do that. It
also determines the weapon.
It's really insane to do that with boobs. It looks cool. I can do it, though. I can make my pecs bounce, but with the booba, it's great. Honestly, if you have boobs, learn how to do it. Build up those pecs. I want to see more girlies doing the peck bounce, okay? Okay?
Damage for most melee weapons, but we'll get to that later. Next is dexterity, the little bitch version of strength. It's your hand-eye coordination, reflexes, and balance, and how well you can hide your handheld when you hear mommy and daddy stomping up to your room like Godzilla. Where strength is about...
That's so relatable. I hate it. I would always play Pokemon and hide it. I would be so... But, like, I didn't want to play without the sound, and, like, I didn't have headphones that were, like, really comfy. So I'd play out, like, so low volume, and I'd have my face, like, pinprick distance, like literally my nose would be touching the screen because I want to make sure I can hear something, and I want to hear the Pokemon cries and like play the game. But then my parents would inevitably hear it, and then I'd have to hide it and pretend to be asleep really quick. Oh my gosh, the video was made for me.
How you can plow through a table being thrown at you.
I also
Dex
like
is about how
things.
you can limbo walk under it. Dex can also be used with what are called finesse weapons, which lets you pick between the two physical stats when rolling attacks and damage in case you skipped arm day. Constitution is your general vitality, how healthy you are, your endurance, and is used for rolls as frequently as a millennial eats breakfast. It mostly only affects your overall hit points, but it's still fairly important and can be treated like the amount of candy in your pantry. You only realize how little you have once you see somebody else with lots of it. Intelligence is dumb. That is, unless you pump it up for big galaxy brains and become smarter than the average bugbear. It's used for general knowledge-based checks involving things like recalling info on history, magic, religion, and most importantly, defeating things with facts and logic. To generalize, it's book smart, so you know a lot of things. It's also used as a spellcasting modifier for both the wizard and artificer classes. Oh, don't worry, we'll get to spellcasting later.
Got it, got it.
Wisdom is one that confuses a lot of people because they think it's just like intelligence, and I'm willing to bet those are the kinds of people who think cheese and mayonnaise can coexist on a sandwich. No, wisdom is more your street smarts and also general senses. It's knowledge based on
I don't have any strong opinions. Is that a thing, though? Like, do people not like having cheese and stuff on their sandwich? Like, I like cheese and mayo on the sandwich. I don't know if I've ever had them together or not. I mean, I think so. Is this a thing? Is this a debate? I need to find out. Tell me in the comments. Is this a thing?
Experience. No, not that experience. And it's the difference between knowing if a plant is poisonous and knowing that the person who told you it was poisonous lied about it because they don't want you finding their beloved lemon tree, you damn lemon whores. It's also the casting ability of clerics, druids, and rain.
Lemon stealing whores. If you know, you know. If you know, you know. If you know, you know. Damn lemon stealing whores.
Finally is charisma. How to tell if your character fucks. It can mean anything from your general likability to approachability to public speaking ability to betting ability.
Okay.
It's your charm, your confidence, and general way with people, whether it be luring them into a trap or aggressively scaring them so bad that they actively jump onto the trap out of fearful compliance. And it's the casting ability for bards, paladins, sorcerers, and warlocks. Because remember, you gotta look
the paladin
trap out of fearful compliance. And it's the casting of
oh my gosh. They're being so insane. He's just being a little derp. And then paladin's like, who put me with these freaks? I mean, I like this freak, but these freaks? I don't know. This is just a freak show. Oh my gosh.
ability for bards, paladins, sorcerers, and warlocks, because remember, you gotta look pretty for the boss patron if you want to get that big eldritch bonus. Now that we're done covering ability scores, we can go over how you get them. And there are 3 generally used methods. If you're a wee baby who needs to meticulously make your perfect OC or else it won't be faithful to your precious self-insert, there's the point buy system, which works like a basic video game. All your stats start at 8 and you have a pool of points, usually 27, to distribute between them all, with the cost going up to 2 points per ability score increase higher than 13 and the cap being at 15. If you hate math, that's too bad because there's going to be loads of it later, but if you want slightly less of it, there's also standard array, which gives you the numbers 15, 14, 13, 12, 10, and 8 to arrange on any of your scores. But if that's still too much choice and you want to put your character into the grubby hands of Arn Jesus, there's the most widely known method, which is rolling 4d6 and dropping the lowest number. This can get you scores anywhere from a whopping 18 to a poo-poo dookie 3 if your DM is a sadist and doesn't do grace rolls, but often results in overall chunkier stats. Whatever method you do, each number corresponds to a second number. Ooh boy, are you overwhelmed yet? You have to keep track of 2 whole numbers. What a crazy catastrophic conundrum. Well, don't you worry your stubborn ear.
I literally can't keep track of 2 numbers. One is more than enough, if not already a great challenge for me. I'm trying my best out here, but apparently it's insane.
Globes, because those big numbers aren't really that important. Their main purpose is to determine a smaller number called a modifier, which means you can totally ignore this number when you actually start to pillage the village. There's a fairly simple mathematical equation to figure out what each number's bonus is, but I know you're a dumb silly pants, so here's a chart. Now will you stop crying about it? The reason the ability modifier is important is because it's what you add to your dice roll whenever they're applicable. So if you have a lot of strength, you're gonna get a little extra oomph whenever you need to punch the vending machine when your chips are stuck. Have low charisma and you're gonna have a hard time convincing the janitor that you weren't the one who broke it. Keep in mind you can still roll great with low stats and roll badly with high stats, but having high ability modifiers makes it so your rolls are more in your favor. Now that you have your scores all placed and your modifiers figured out, now we can determine where those modifiers go, which means we can look at this spaghetti jumbling mess of words. Now don't go running a mommy calculator just yet. It's so easy even Fighter-Man can figure it out. At the top here are
Wait, calculator's mommy? Oh, I didn't realize that we had a mommy in my phone. Well, I did know that there's several mommies that I've saved in my photos, but beyond that, I didn't realize I had a mommy who could do math in my phone. I'm gonna have to save that information for more private time, apparently. Oh, that's gonna be lovely.
Saving throws. These are your defenses and resistances to various bads that want to smush you up and turn you into a turd. Things like traps, area of effects, most spells, and that little voice telling you that you're making poor decisions. You don't roll these on your own most of the time. Instead, your DM will ask you to make them whenever you're put in harm's way. And you see these little spaces? That's where your ability modifiers go. That's right! This way you can refer to these numbers to add to your rolls whenever they come into play. Look how smart you are. I could just give you a wedgie right now. Next are your skills. These are the various different capabilities your character is able to do in a regular game of D&D.
I'm not wearing underpants. I don't know how you're gonna figure out how to do that, okay? I'm not wearing pants either, but honestly, the physics of this is scaring me. If you're gonna find a way to do this, then I don't want to know. That seems terrifying. How? Teach me your ways, but then don't do it to me.
And each one is affected by your ability scores, just like your saving throws. And just like your saving throws, there's this trusty little space for you to put your awesome stonking and or poodoo modifiers. And how can you tell what ability mod goes where? Well, you foolish mortal wombat. Just look at this helpful little parentheses that tells you what it's attributed to. Go down the list and now you have a reference for what your character's good or terrible at. Got high dex? Well, congratulations, your sleight of hand means you can cheat at poker better. Bad at intelligence? Well, then you're probably not going to know who President Dingle Bloopy Noop is during the history segment of Are You Smarter Than a Kobold? Now, we're not quite done yet with this llama lot. We gotta go over what proficiency is.
Proficiency.
Proficiency is what separates the fake gamers from the hardcore top 500 ultra platinum uber pros, and you can find it in this little dingle. Starting at level 1, your proficiency bonus is 2, and it increases as you level up more and more. Basic gist, it goes up by 1 every 4 levels. This number is added to anything you are proficient, aka trained with. And as far as saving throws and skills go, this will be signified by a little check mark, and which ones those little check marks go into is determined by a combination of your class, background, and on rare occasion, race. For example, a fighter has proficiency in strength and con saving throws, so wha-bam, wha-bam! Add those numbers. They also get to choose 2 skills to be proficient with from this list according to the Parrot Handbook. Normally you would pick your own, but here we're just gonna go athletics and perception. Wha-bang, wha-bang. Let's say you're also a hermit. You get these 2 skills to be proficient in. Wha-bang. Always remember, whenever you're proficient with something, it means you get to add this sexy number on top of whatever appropriate ability modifier that's added to the dice roll you make. Proficient in athletics, roll a d20, add strength mod, add proficiency bonus. And if at any point you forget what you're proficient in, just refer back to the player handbook for your race, class, and background. Congratulations, you now know how 90% of Dungeons & Dragons works. You feeling smart yet? You feeling like you can wrestle a spider? Well, sit the hell back down because we're not done yet.
Combat.
Now that we're done with the stat portion of the character sheet, we can look at the combat portion. This section is what you refer to when your DM says clickety-clackety, you're about to get attackety. Up at the very top left is your armor class, or AC for short. This by default is 10 plus your dexterity modifier. No, I said the modifier, not the score, pay attention. However, this can be increased by the different types of armor. Whichever one you start with will depend on which class you pick. Next is initiative. Whenever an encounter begins, initiative is rolled and determines who goes first and who stacks dice for the next half hour. This number is the same as your dexterity modifier and is added to your initiative roll at the beginning of an encounter. And this last little block is speed, which is how much you can move across the checkerboard each turn. Each square equaling 5 feet of movement if you're normal and use the imperial system, and is initially determined by your race or how well you can try.
As a Canadian, I'm very offended because, like, come on, bro. Us normies are the most normal people, such as myself. I consider myself one of the most normal people to have ever normaled. And I use the metric system, dear, because I am based, lovely, and great. So you know what? It's gonna be good. It's gonna be amazing. It's gonna be metric.
Try to convince your DM that your character ran track in high school. Below that are the hit points, maximum, current, and temporary. Your maximum hit points is like an anime fan's figure shelf after about 2 conventions. You can try to fit more, but we all know any extras are gonna have to sit on your desk next to all your empty cups. It's determined by your class, each one having its own size of hit die plus your constitution modifier. Because D&D is a communist game.
I only have 1 empty cup on my desk, and it's because I was drinking from it before I started recording, okay? That's the only empty cup on my desk. And I don't have anime figures on my desk. I have VTuber playing cards. I have all my Cottontail ones here, which are very awesome. I like those. I also have all the 10s I pulled, you know, because I'm based like that.
Believes in universal healthcare. At first level, you always receive the highest possible roll for hit points. But for every consecutive level, you can either roll for it or take the coward's way out and take the average increase instead. And then your current hit points are pretty obvious. It's the amount of blood you still have inside your body at the moment. Reach 0 and your character skips 50 seconds ahead of this video. Lastly, there are temporary hit points, which go above the maximum hit points and you only ever get on special occasions via spells, special abilities, or the local grandma lizardfolk just made you a delicious bowl of her legally ambiguous performance-enhancing herbal soup. Keep in mind a couple of things. Temporary hit points are kind of like the skin-tight leather jackets from the 90s X-Men movies, in that they don't stack on top of each other and you have to pick which one you want to keep if given multiple of them. And if you're on the floor dying from a stab wound, putting it on won't magically stitch it together. And what are these 2 lonely boxicles? Well, my stupid student, they're yin and yang, 2 sides of a coin, one for when you're alive and the other for when you're unalive. The former being your hit dice. You have as many of these as your player level and can spend them whenever you take a sit for as long as a single episode of a Netflix original show to recover your hit points. What size of hit dice is once again determined by your class, and you get them back whenever you binge an entire season's worth of a Netflix original show. But what do you do?
Wow, I must have a lot of hit points saved up, honestly. I've been doing that pretty constantly. I must be the healthiest person ever. Honestly, this is so helpful because now we know the most healthy thing you can do is binge watch TV. Didn't know that before. Now I do. I'm gonna be great about that. I'm gonna go binge watch some TV right after this. I'm gonna get nice and healthy. You'll see all my gains, all my binge watching gains. It's gonna be amazing. You're gonna be so impressed by my muscles from it. You're gonna be like, Luminous, how'd you get so ripped? I'm like, I watched all of Star Trek Voyager in one sitting. Yeah. Yeah.
When you're bleeding out while dressed in a 90s teenager's idea of a sexy badass superhero. If your current hit points ever reach 0, you have to look over on this touch-deprived box and start rolling Death
That's
where you gamble with Grim each turn and roll your most well-behaved D20
The Adventures
to see
of
what...
Billy and Grim. Mandy, Billy, and Grim. I can't remember. What's the name? I can't remember the name of the show, but I know what this is. Like, Mandy, Billy, and Grim. I don't know what the show is called.
Whether you luck back to life or have a very awkward reunion with those bandits you killed 5 minutes ago. Roll a 10 or higher and you gain a success. 9 or lower and you get a failure. 2 failures if you drop a fat, stinky nat 1. 3 successes or a lucky 20 and you hop back to 1 hit point. 3 failures and your character sheet becomes the DM's ass-wiping supplies.
Attacks.
This section is where you throw in all your various flavors of stabs. If you have a weapon or attack of some kind, you write it in here and refer to it during combat. Say it's a sword and shield. Yes, both. You would write down the name of the weapon here. Then next to it is the attack bonus, aka how accurate your weapon is. No, not the damage. This number is determined by your strength modifier for most weapons, unless it's a ranged weapon like a bow, in which case you use your dex mod instead. Or if it has the finesse property, which allows you to pick either. On top of that, if you're proficient with that weapon, you can add that good old bonus to it too. But how do you know if you're proficient with a weapon? Let's put a peen in that. Alternatively, if it's a spell attack like Eldritch, your attack bonus becomes your spellcasting ability modifier.
Yeah.
Let's take a bard, for instance, which is the slut stat plus your proficiency bonus. Whenever
It's my stat. It's my stat. That's my stat, everyone. It's my stat. It's mine. Hi! It's mine. Dear Lord, it's mine. Oh, I'm such a stat individual. Do you not see how much stats I have? Can you not see my stats? Dear, do you see how robust my stats are? I hope that you're impressed by my stats.
you roll a d20 to see if your attack lands, you get to add this number to the total. Alternatively, if it's a spell or special item like a bunch of ball bearings thrown in attempts to recreate Home Alone that requires the enemy to make a saving throw, you can put the saving throw and difficulty class there instead. But how do you know what that number is? We're gonna put a peen in that too. Shut up. Once you have that number, to the right of it is the damage roll, aka how aggressively you're going to introduce the enemy's face to your sword. This is included in the description of whatever weapon or spell you are using. Whether it be a light jab at their insecurities, a proverbial pounding of pornographic proportions, or 8d6 fire damage in a 20
Wow, I need one of those.
foot radius, just fireball! Most weapons also include your strength modifier to the damage, unless once again it's a ranged weapon which uses dexterity or a finesse weapon which uses either. The difference being that you don't add your proficiency bonus to this roll unless something says otherwise, and most spells don't add any additional modifiers unless their wall of text explicitly says so. And lastly, make sure you include what kind of damage you're dealing so your DM can know that your psychic damaging vicious mockery won't do much against a revenant because their self-esteem is already in the grave. To recap, when you attack, roll a d20, add this number, which is these, then if you hit the enemy's AC, you roll these, and add this number, which is this.
Spellcasting.
Okay.
We're gonna take a little break from the main sheet to look at this sheet that has a list of all your accomplishments. Oh, look at that, it's blank. This is the spell sheet. If you're playing a character that's capable of casting spells, then you're gonna take a gander over to this sheet whenever you cast them. Up here at the top, you can put
I would rather take the goose, my dear. Why would I want a gander when there's so many lovely geese out there? Honestly, just the lovely curves of a goose's neck. Why would I want the gander, dear? You're so incorrect for that. I, for one, would never want it. But you know what? If you want to take a gander, I hope you do. Take it hard and happily. But I won't try and fight you for it. I just want the goose.
spellcasting class in case
Did I just advocate for bestiality? I hope not. No, that was a wordplay. That was wordplay.
you're absurd and tend to forget which spells go where, your casting ability, which will depend on the class, your spell save difficulty class, and your spell attack bonus. So hey, remember that peen we put in for spells in your attacks? Well, it's time to unpucker that sucker, because here it is, the spell save difficulty class, also known as DC. This is referred to whenever you cast a spell that requires the enemy to make a saving throw. And how this is calculated is 8 plus your cast mod plus your pof bone. Once you've got all that figured out, the rest of the sheet is for keeping track of all your spells and slots. You write down the spells you have for each level, how many slots you have total, as well as expended, and if you have the spell prepared or not. Note, only certain casting-capable classes apply. Please refer to the player handbook or any other supplementary book regarding your class to find information on what methods you have to go about obtaining and preparing spells. What, unsure of what spell slots are because your brain's too smooth? Well, sit the shit back, dip, you get, and listen up. The weakest level of spells are called cantrips, or sometimes level 0 if you don't care about hurting their feelings, and they can be cast as many times a day as you want. First level spells and upwards, however, require require a resource called spell slots to be cast, or else you'll have to find out the hard way that casting Thunderwave without having your beauty sleep will make the life or death battle with the Underlord of Darkness a lot less epic and a lot more smelling like last night's kebabs. And if the name spell slot makes things too confusing for you, you can use my personal preferred name for them, Mage Bullets. How many Mage Bullets you have per spell level and how you recover them is determined by your specific class and level. So just like 99% of this entirely redundant video, if you want more information, it's best to read the parking himbo. And keep track of your goddamn slots. Because if you don't and just so happen to be able to cast 5 mage hands a day, under section 3, chapter 1, paragraph 12 of the Code of Gelatinous Noobs, the DM has full rights to eat your dice.
What? Characteristics.
After looking in the mirror and taking some serious self-reflection after the apocalyptic chasm of the divide of the fanbase that was 4th edition of D&D, Wizards of the Coast started to take into consideration for the next version of D&D what gameplay features they wanted to invite to future parties and what gameplay features they needed to take out back and tell to think about the pretty space butterflies. One such old yeller victim was the Virgin alignment chart being completely overshadowed by the Chad personal characteristics, each one being a useful tool to remind you of your character's interests, motivations, shortcomings, and sexual fantasies. You never know if you're going to end up having to fuck your way out of a problem, so it helps to be prepared and know exactly what position would be the most in character. Personality traits are the broad strokes of your character. Likes, dislikes, interests, manners, whether or not they think something's a soup or a salad. Ideals are their drive, their principles, and what they vote for during election time. Or if they don't care about voting at all and prefer to stay home to catch a once-in-a-lifetime live marathon rerun of Animal Planet's The Most Extreme. Bonds are personal attachments and experiences they've had. It could be a good friend, a fond memory, or your favorite glow-in-the-dark bouncy ball that always seemed to bounce a little bit weirder than all the other ones. And lastly, flaws, which 99% of the players don't actually understand and will probably put something inconsequential, like clumsy. Not me, though, because I'm flawless and perfect. Oh, you don't think so? Well, could a person with weaknesses do this?
All of this other shit.
I can do that.
Remember that peen we put in wondering how you know what weapons you're proficient with? That goes down here, by the way, and that, along with basically every other section we've yet to cover, can be figured out in this next part, which is what I like to call the copying it over from the book section of the character creation, because that's basically all you do for the rest of the sheet. I gotta pick a background, check the player handbook. What proficiencies do I get? Check the player handbook. What about feats and traits? Check the player handbook. What's my starting equipment? Check the player handbook. Or any other supplementary book relevant to your chosen race, class, background, a la Volo's Guide, Xanathar's Guide, Eberron Rising, etc. And with all that done, congratulations, you now have a completed and fully functioning character sheet, ready to be used once, then completely lost, then found again once you've already redone a second one, or if you're lucky, one that will be used consistently over the course of several years to the point where there's more eraser skid marks than pencil lead, and the once firm sheet of paper turning as soft as a tissue person's dick after seeing you in the shower. Now you know how to use a character sheet.
Excuse me?
Hey, you kind of forgot to write your backstory. Fuck!
Dungeon Masters time. 20 minutes. Okay, let's do this thing. Let's go.
So you've got a character sheet all written out and a couple of friends who want to play D&D, but you're missing one vital component. The world, the characters, the laws of physics everyone's gonna break to make for cool moments you'll commission artists on the internet to draw for you. But such a role requires leadership, initiative, a total willingness to have a bunch of children stomp on all your ideas in favor of doing funny memes and stupid scenarios. Despite all that, such a title has an extremely low barrier to entry and is probably the most important thing at your entire role-playing table, and without one, the game will not exist. So anybody and everybody should perform the duty at least once for the sake of their fellow players, begging for a chance to experience this wonderful pastime, so long as I don't have to be the one to do it. What? Fine. Welcome to a crap guide to Dungeons and Dragons. The Dungeon Master, or Game Master, if you like clay in your soup, is the mind behind the magic and who decides just about everything that happens in the game besides the player's own choices. Your role as a DM is to control and describe literally every single little detail that happens during the game, as you are the game. The game cannot exist without a Dungeon Master. As the DM, you call the shots based on how the rules work, or if you don't like the rules and say, shoot that poot, and come up with your own. Otherwise, how else are you supposed to know if your rules lawyering player is giving you correct information and isn't just making an elaborate manipulative plot to trick you into giving them a pet displacer beast? Fortunately for you, if you aren't sure or don't remember how a certain rule works, you can always just look it up, because being a good DM is about applying information, not memorizing it, unlike the American education system. Outside of the rules, though, you are the bridge between the players and the fantasy world they're playing in, describing everything that's going on.
Do I not have subtitles? Where'd they go? Where'd they go? Come back here. Come back here! I don't think
on an excruciating detail.
Continuing, Barry's mother, Janet Benson, yells up at Barry, Janet Benson, breakfast is ready. Cut to be... Huh? Is this actually something? Janet Benson. Someone Google Janet Benson. What is Janet Benson? SFX phone ringing. Barry's antenna vibrates as they ring like a phone. Barry's is Barry a robot? Excuse me? Someone figured out what this is from.
Tale, like a radio show, but with a lot more awkward pauses. Everything they fuck, marry, or kill is through the context of how you describe it, which means you have to be incredibly deliberate with your vocabulary and respect the Oxford comma, or else you might make the wrong translation of what's going on in your brain to the players, who may then think the innocent bystander NPC is actually a murderer, because you accidentally stuttered when voicing them, saying they were just doing their tasks. There are quite a few ways information can be put across to the players, and it all comes down to the DM's preferred style of presentation! Many pop culture depictions of the nerd ritual often show an ornately carved and treated mahogany table, players dressed in professional cosplay on par with 2000s Hollywood costumes, atmospheric mood lighting that'll make a hardcore dom blush, background music and ambience that's like a spa day for your ear canals, and detailed miniatures, maps, and set pieces painted by angels using brushes made from the nose hairs of the gods. Now,
Yeah, D20. Think about D20.
do you need all these fancy, expensive, and superfluous amounts of presentation and stimulus in order to have a worthwhile Dungeons and Dragons experience for your players? Of course you do. Fork it over, bitch. Your wallet could lose a few extra pounds. But even with all the fanciest of theatrics, every Dungeon Master has to rely on the ever-prevalent theater of the mind, where everyone has to use their imagination to visualize what's happening in your grand spanking fantasy world. So a game of D&D doesn't have to cost hundreds of dollars and can be anything from a massive theatrical event to a hangout with the bros with cardboard cutout minis to even sitting in a restaurant with napkins for character sheets and the salt and pepper shakers or the evil queen of spice and her angry white steed. No matter what, you'll always eventually have to rely on the most useful creation of all mankind that can raise armies and fell nations. Words. Never underestimate the power of a good thesaurus, because inevitably there will be a situation where all your fancy props won't suffice and you will have to learn how to use Old English vernacular. As the DM, most of your responsibility all boils down to allowing the players to interact with your grand spankin' fantasy world. And how they do that can be summarized in one simple action: rolling dice. When a player wants to do something, anything, the DM is the one who decides if the player rolls dice, what dice they roll, and the outcome of the roll of the dice. Then just about everything else is an extension of that one single responsibility, which is why nobody wants to do it, because one single responsibility is far too many. An extension of that, the DM's the encyclopedia of the D&D game. If there's history in the world, it's the DM's job to know it. When the players are fighting bad guys, it's the DM's job to keep track of the enemy's abilities, hit points, and sexual orientation, just in case, you never know. If a player resurrects
Okay, the bard is canonically Pan.
DM's job to keep track of the enemy's abilities, hit points, and sexual orientation, just in case.
Oh,
You never
okay.
know.
Pan and bi, lovely representation. Okay, so I saw that in the comments before that the bard is Pan and that the paladin is lesbian, and I'm like, go for it.
If a player resurrects their long-dead uncle, it's the DM's job to have read their backstory to know said uncle
Wait,
was a drunk.
here lies Uncle Boof strangled by his own bra. Good for him.
If a player resurrects
Okay, good job, Uncle Boof. You maybe should have been a little bit more careful with your bra straps, but good for you. Good for you,
their
Uncle
long
Boof.
dead uncle, it's the DM's
I saw the word bra, and my brain was like, huh?
job to have read their backstory to know said uncle
Just because bra.
was a drunk rocketeer who eats horseshoe crabs. And when the players bring up how the plot and characters are oddly similar to Lord of the Rings, it's the DM's job to kick their ass. The scariest part about being a dungeon master, however, is the improv. Since you can't anticipate every single possible possibility the players can possibly make possible, you have to think.
Well, you see, I take improv lessons, and I'm fairly good at it, if that's not insanely, extremely clear. I tend to know what I'm doing when it comes to improvisation. As long as the punchline is always, I want to jam my tongue down someone's throat. A woman's throat. Girl's throats. Probably cottontail. Those are my 3 jokes. Don't figure that out. Don't figure out I only have 3 jokes, please. Ha! I also like eyeballs. That's a thing I do. Hi.
On the fly and figure out how those possible things could be possible. If the player character tries to eavesdrop on somebody, you have to come up with what they hear. If somebody eats too many beans and farts, you gotta come up with how it smells. And if the party decides to run off some other direction rather than the main plot, you have to come up with what they run into. Like another town, or a dangerous hag, or even the main plot, because you moved it over there since the giant glowing breadcrumbs in the shape of story progress this way wasn't obvious enough. If you think you can prepare pre-written answers for every possible question the players could come up with, I'm gonna have to stop you right there, because no the fuck you can't. Somebody at some point in time will do something that'll turn your no-pants bad dreams into a reality, and you gotta figure out then and there whether you're gonna get a new pair or just roll with it while the players see your metaphorical junk swaying in the breeze. So with all that easy to digest and totally not intimidating stack of expectations that doesn't even scratch the surface of what it takes to be a dungeon master out of the way, the question now becomes, how does one even start being a dungeon master?
How?
Just do it! No matter what, you'll want a copy of the player handbook, since it has a majority of the most common rules. As far as actual content goes, though, the most baby-friendly way is to purchase a pre-written adventure, one of these buggers, which will usually have a plot, characters, encounters, villains, and plenty of faffing about material for your players. However, if that's too much punishment on your wallet, the natural safe word is making a campaign of your own. The thing about safe words, though, is it often stops things in their tracks, so it will require you to come up with most of the aforementioned plot, characters, encounters, villains, and faffing material yourself, which can take anywhere from the night of binge writing to never, because you only ever think about your ideas and never write it down. down. Either way you go with, once you have the skeleton of your campaign ready, you gotta start filling it with internal organs. And as anyone who's taken biology can tell you, organs are gross and messy and can often go misplaced, so you just have to substitute a kidney with a moldy sponge for a bit while you go find it. That is until suddenly the blood cells start making friends with the sponge and it becomes more effective than an actual kidney and you start to question everything you've ever learned in school. So good fucking luck figuring out how to balance spending time preparing to run a campaign and spending time actually running a campaign. Do you spend entire weeks drawing maps, writing possible paths and dialogue options for characters down to the description of their cousin's boyfriend's dog's favorite chew toy? Or do you just spend the week doing some faffing about of your own and then spend the final half hour leading up to the session time frantically writing down bits from a D&D random content generator? But hey, once you get a game going, the rest should come naturally. Just take it all one step at a time, and you can especially relax whenever the players start to roleplay and act on their own, because then you can just sit back and relax and let them have their fun, and you don't even have to do dialogue for any NPCs or lore dump on them, or fuck, the rogue tried to steal the paladin's rosary beads. Yes, the dirty whale's underbelly of being a dungeon master is dealing with the barnacle infestation that is being the de facto babysitter of the group, and then you gotta bring out the scraper of social obligation. In some situations, more than others, the DM is expected to have a significant amount of say in organizing the playgroup, since you have—
So you're the mommy of the group. You gotta treat them well. You gotta be their mother and punish them when they've been bad and reward them when they've been good. Maybe I need to do more DMing. It sounds like it's right up my alley.
something of a larger leadership role for the game to exist than the players. You're who the players will look to when arguing over who gets the loot. You will be expected to have a bigger say on when the next session time will be, and
Fuck
you are the one
Barry.
who's expected to kick out the guy who's overriding your descriptions of a pleasant-smelling flower garden with the rankness of his workout stank. This means that you cannot take a passive role as a DM. You have control over the fan, and if you see shit flying towards it, you're gonna be expected to turn that fan off before the place really starts to smell like a medieval castle street. With all of that said, I still could not possibly cover the grand mountain climb that is explaining what it takes to be a dungeon master, not to mention what it takes to be a good dungeon master. And I've seduced enough tall folk to make Kanchenjunga horny for me. But I believe the best possible way to show you what it takes to be a dungeon master would be a demonstration of those undergarment moistifying skills I possess. Lucky for your thirsty butts, I've set up a D&D session with a bunch of nerds and
Wait, I just got that undergarment moistification skills. I have those too, dear. I'm glad that we're on the same path here. I think that I'm learning more and more that I am a natural DM, a dommy mommy, if you will. That's my calling all along, yes. We're learning about things. We're learning, and we're growing, and we're having fun.
Straight I shall. Alright, unexpectables, you walk into a tavern, a crowd has gathered, and everyone seems to be having a good time, all except the mysterious hooded figure in the center of the room that nobody except you all seem to notice. What do?
I want to smash the barkeeper!
I want to smash the barkeeper.
Nobody wants to have a chat with the hooded figure? Who knows, it may tie into one of your backstories.
Oh yeah, that reminds me. DM, could you look over these notes I have about my backstory? It's only a few pages long, but I wanted to make sure to keep the authenticity of my homeland as the center point of my character development.
What the hell? This is a fucking novel. I'm not reading all of this.
Oh yeah, speaking of, I wanted to check in with you about this new homebrew I created for one of my backstory's characters. I ran it by a couple of friends and they seem to think it's pretty balanced, so no need to worry about looking over it too much.
Oh, no. I know what you're trying to do, you scruffy looking...
Hey, DM, are there any Goliaths in the tavern? No particular reason, I just wanted to know.
Dude, yeah, are there any? I've been looking for a surfing buddy for some time. We're at the beach, right? I wasn't really paying attention. Could you set the scene again?
Whatever. I'll get back to you guys later. Dawn, right. Have you made up your minds about that
Her
ambush
voice is
yet?
cute.
The guy you've been
Her voice
targeting
is
for the
cute.
past 3 sessions is right there, enjoying his dwarvish drink.
Oh boy, I surely am enjoying my dwarvish drink.
Look, whenever we take a single decision like going to the left or to the right, it goes wrong. We need to have 100% flawless plan.
Oh, maybe we can go talk with him? But if things go wrong, I can use my gun.
When the fuck did the blind dragonborn get a gun? I don't remember giving him a gun. Has he always had a gun?
Just one guy. Why don't I just sneak up on him and poison his drink? I have plus 10 to stealth, plus advantage with my cloak and invisibility, and add on another 10 if Franz uses his pass without a trace. No one will ever see me, and we can avoid this whole encounter.
Or I can use this gun.
How many times must you terrify my sweet bottom? You upright marsupial!
I'll give you 6 minutes and 44 seconds. If you don't come to an agreement on a plan, I'm feeding your minis to the wigglers. Group stupid, you follow into the tavern as well, and you see the mysteriously hooded figure, now eyeballing you down and casting a menacing visage. They gesture towards 5 open seats and say that you should go—
So who's the most expensive looking dude here?
What? I don't
love
fucking
her.
know. There's a noble in the corner of the room, sure, but he's busy talking with somebody else right now, so maybe you should probably—
I'm already there. I intimidated him to challenge me to an arm wrestling match for all his gold and belongings.
Hey, absurd. You could use charm person. I mean, that would cause your charm status, which would give you advantage on any social...
I asked him to give us all of his money.
Absurd.
I rolled an 11.
That's really more of a help action, which actually...
What the fuck? I didn't even ask you to roll yet.
But I did it already. Look, an 11 is good. We are friends now. Everyone likes absurd.
I intimidate him to challenge me to an arm wrestling match for all his gold and belongings.
Fucking fine. You start to arm wrestle him for some of his gold.
Oh, I already stole it all. Also, he might be cursed, because, you know, backstory stuff.
Alright, sure. In the meantime, the hooded figure in the middle of the room that everyone decided to totally ignore transforms into a massive towering titan, and the roof of the tavern is blown off, revealing
Evilus Maximus, the demon lord of darkness.
Vilius Maximus? Now, my Latin's a little bit rusty, but that name seems a little bit on the nose. It sounds to me like he's actually ripping off the Pope's title of Pontifex Maximus, so maybe we should be on our guard for some vile bishops and dastardly cardinals.
No, he's not. Shut up. He looks down upon you all, and with a snap of his fingers, everyone's magical items disappear.
What? This is outrageous. This is
She's so
unfair.
pretty.
I demand to
She's
roll
very
an opposing
pretty.
skill check.
Ooh, this is the classic weaken your opponent before the showdown strategy used by the really egomaniacal bad guys. He wants to demonstrate that we're over-reliant on our magic items as a sort of condescending attack on our self-worth. Watch, next he's gonna say, your puny trinkets won't save you now.
Your puny trinkets won't save you now.
He says, holding out your loot in a glowing orb in his grip.
Ooh, textbook orb strategy.
Stop making comparable analysis. Evilus then casts Hold Person on all patrons of the tavern. Everyone needs to roll
Counterspell, counterspell, counterspell. Hey, did you see this new ad for an over-the-table dictionary? What's it called? Counterspell.
Fucking how many counterspells do you even have?
All of them.
No way, you really don't have that many.
Of course I do.
Bullshit. Let me see your character sheet.
No.
Let me see it.
No.
Let me see it, Tabby.
No.
Give it to me, Tabby.
No,
Let me
you
see
can't.
it.
As a Beastmaster, Warlock, Fighter, Sorcerer, multi-class, I like to use my Beast movement to carry me to the enemy, then have them attack the enemy, then use my Familiar's action to use the Help action, then cast Haste on myself, cast Eldritch Blast as a quicken spell, use Action Surge to put a light on my Beast's nose, and attack with my hasted action.
Oh, sweet. My Shield Guardian spell procs, because he targeted me with a spell, so that's going to be a Faithful Hound right on Evilus's heels. Now that it's my turn, my sweet pup is definitely going to have a munch. And then I'll have the Guardian run up and slap him, and then I'll use my 9th level spell slot to conjure... Wait, hold on. 32 enormous constrictor snakes. You're keeping track of all these initiatives, right? Don't forget that I also have 2 horses, a mastiff, and 6 chickens.
Oh, actually, I still have my movement. Can I dodge as a free action?
The dog's name is Cheese Puff, by the way.
Joel, can I play this?
Well, you two sort that out. I'm going to try to scam as many people as possible out of their coin.
Whoa, hold up there, you oversized crow. You said you were lawful good.
Oh, no. I said I was a half-elven town guard turned hospice nurse and non-lethal hedge knight. But, you know, I can understand the confusion. Besides, I don't believe in alignment anyway. I'm trying to get my scam on. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, may you lend me your ears. I have here in my hand one of the finest brews in all
Okay, so as I stand up in a chair, everyone looks at me. I smile charmingly and everyone starts cheering already. As I pull out a 12-quarter ukulele...
Excuse you, who's the DM here?
Oh, you, of course, but in this scenario, I will have to roll persuasion or performance, and if I pass a DC check 15, I will charm everyone around me into following my every command. Doing this will allow my character to start
this
its
is
own company,
overwhelming.
creating profits through the...
This is so overwhelming, and I feel so bad for the DM here. I'm just like, I can't breathe. I feel like I'm having a panic attack. Oh my gosh, poor guy. Just like, come on, give him a break.
Selling of a very specific...
No.
Don't worry, everyone. Just think of all the friends we've helped through our journey and the ties between our hearts that will help us defeat Evilus Maximus. In the name of Saloon, I will punish you. Believe it.
Sailor Moon.
Can I stab her and take all her stuff?
Later.
Hey, Dean, not that it actually happened, but hypothetically, if I lost a dice set you let me borrow, would you happen to have another one?
I swear, I have the perfect theme music for this exact situation. Just hold on 1 second, I'll find it.
Music! Good idea. My furball pulls out their ukulele and begins to sing to the villain. Hey, you with the villainous smile, why don't you come and stay and get to know me a while?
She's talented.
2 sides of the coin, well, I got no tail, I could give you some.
Alrighty, I think that's enough barding for now. That's enough.
I feel as though we haven't really sussed out the emotional stakes here. I mean, who is Evilus to us, you know?
He's the demon lord of darkness. He murders people and is awful and terrible and bad.
Or is he perhaps a metaphor? A construct representing the lasting world that persisted after the age of reason?
No!
Or maybe we are all Evilus. He's a reflection of our own inner...
Nope, shut up.
You know, we probably can't even take Evilus. According to the strategy guide, he commands 4 Krakens made of, like, pure gold, which are actually lawful neutral, by the way. So they're technically not even evil, and they just serve an evil lord, which is interesting because...
Hey, stop reading the official campaign setting.
How's he funding all this?
I think I have a general idea.
Oh my god, no. Just leave. Run. Run. Just run.
Can I just get I'm trying. Okay, shut up.
I should make pudding pretzels tonight.
Evilus Maximus has you all completely surrounded and begins to speak.
Foolish mortals, I've lived for 1,000 lifetimes, and once I'm done with you, I'll continue to live 1,000 more. You are merely a blink in my existence. I felled gods and consumed worlds. Worlds which yours pales in its own inadequacy. For the darkness I've tamed this.
We've got him now, guys. I cast polymorph in the middle of his speech.
Yeah, turn him into a T-Rex. No, wait,
Okay,
T-Rex
I'm
is
gonna
bad.
grab
Something small.
Evil Maximus.
Oh no. Oh god. Oh god. Oh god. Oh god.
That is it. Shut up. Everyone shut the hell up. No, you can't talk to the barkeeper. They ignore you. I didn't read your backstory. Your homebrew is rejected. There are no Goliaths, and pay the fuck attention next time I describe the goddamn scene. No, I'm not gonna describe it again for you. You all took too long, so your ambush fails and you fall to the floor of the tavern. Also, your target runs away. I never asked for a single one of you to roll, so all your dice go to waste. You don't get that gold, your intimidation fails, and you stop being a dongly-bongly rules lawyer for once. You two, stop comparing my totally original campaign to popular and historical media. I will sick the light gray walkers on you. You don't counterspell, your seat is revoked, and no, you can't do any of whatever all that shit you were trying to do, you moldy min-max and munchkins. Nobody listens to you, and the guards show up to arrest you for disturbing the peace.
Hey, it's all right, JoCat. There's no need to get so hostile. If you just take a moment to talk to the players, I'm sure we can all...
Nobody cares, Matt Mercer.
I like Matt Mercer. Matt Mercer's awesome. I love him. He's great. He's so much fun. He's such a an entertaining in person, great person. He's so entertaining. I love all of his content. It's so good. I love all of his videos. His streams, whatever.
No, 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 and no to all of your plans. And Evilus Maximus doesn't get interrupted by your spell. He conjures a giant mountain on top of the world, rocks fall, everybody dies, and that's the end of the session because nobody wanted to talk to the obviously mysterious hooded figure in the middle of the fucking room.
Oh.
Mysterious
Man, that was
hooded
the most
figure.
boring Oh my god!
Fine, whatever. Leave. I don't need you. I can find some other players who would be happy to play the game I meticulously planned for them. Go on and cry about it online, you dice munching goblin breath weirdos.
Whoa.
This is what you get for ruining the scene.
Yeah.
It's all your fault, you know.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Really?
Satisfied?
Are you?
What the hell else was I supposed to do? If they don't want to play the game I've set up for them, then they don't deserve to play at all.
Aww.
Maybe, but did you ever think about the game they do want to play? You know, the players are just as much a part of how the session goes as you are. Part of D&D is about how anything can happen. But I planned out this whole thing for them. I even got all the books and everything. It was gonna be a sweeping story with awesome NPCs and an epic conclusion, but they're not doing what I need them to do. That's true, and maybe they never will, but that might be okay. Sure, keep in mind where you want the game to go, but not everything has to be by the books.
Yeah.
Everyone is playing their own version of D&D, and as the DM, you have to be able to adapt to that. Saying no to everything you don't want them doing isn't going to give them an amazing...
I don't know why, but it looks like his head's on backwards here, and I think that's actually correct. It looks like his hands... Did he turn his head around at some point? I missed that.
Experience with infinite possibilities, it's just going to make them feel like the game's better off without them.
Why is his
But
head
what if I
backwards?
do let them do whatever they want, and things go wrong, and it gets boring, or imbalanced, or I forget something important, or the game goes south somehow, and the players don't like the session anyway? Then you go again and do better next time. And this situation right here could be a good start. Yeah, right, and what am I supposed to do? Talk to the players? You can certainly try.
Aww.
Guys, wait. I'm sorry. I was worried that if you didn't play the way I wanted you to, that the game wouldn't be as cool or as fun as I thought it could be.
Emotional
I was too
growth.
constricting on your agency. and shouldn't have stopped you from at least attempting to do the things you wanted. And I should have talked with you and maybe come to some sort of compromise on some of the things I was really stubborn about. Being the Dungeon Master is just really, really scary. There's so much I have to keep track of. Coming up with things on the fly can be really hard, and I want to run the best game I can for everyone. And I'm terrified of messing things up. So sometimes I can get a bit...
Vapid?
Immature.
Anatomically confusing?
Aggressive. But I'm willing to
Yes,
try again.
very.
If you are. So how about it? Would you like to play some D&D?
No? Would you? They're like, nah, bye. Bye, buddy. We don't need you anymore.
So, Krabby, you were saying you wanted to interrupt Evilus Maximus.
Yeah. I wanted to cast Polymorph on him in the middle of his speech.
Alright, what's your spell save DC?
15.
Against all odds, you successfully polymorph Evilus Maximus. He transforms into a meek little sheep and falls to the tavern floor. Seeing this happen, several of the tavern patrons throw up their hoods to reveal they are part of Evilus's cult. Everyone roll for initiative.
Yeah!
Oh, this is fun.
Oh. Been a journey. I'm really glad I did this. Oh. Ops red, ops blue. Oh, this is fun. I love this. I'm so happy. I'm so happy I did this. I'm letting this all go. They all deserve their credit. Matthew Mercer, the GOAT. Well done. Well done. JoCat. The end. I'm so glad I did this. This was so much fun. It was a journey. It was a journey. Thank you so much, JoCat, for making these videos. Thank you for being amazing. Thank you for being awesome. I hope that anyone who watched this had a lovely day, has a lovely day, or is just doing well. And if you're not, then I hope that you hear that I hope that you will find better days. Also, if you'd like to have some fun, head on over to twitch.tv/LuminusRed. Come on in, drop me a follow, hang out. I know that'll be a lovely place for you. And if you'd like to like, comment, and subscribe, help push this video, help me out, that would mean the world to me. In the meantime, I will head out and I will wish you all a lovely rest of your day, evening, or month. That's not a normal progression of that, but you get it. You get it. Until next time, my lovely Lustars. Bye.